The 3D modeling process, specifically character modeling, can be made a lot more efficient and a lot more convenient by utilizing a few tools related to symmetry and mirroring. A lot of our bodies have mirrored components to them. We have two arms, we have two hands, we have two eyes, two ears. Even our nose has two nostrils that's kind of symmetrical. So having these tools available to us is pretty important to keeping our sanity while working through character modeling as well as other modeling techniques. So I'm just going to show you a few of these tools kind of in a bit out of context, and then you can use those to go into other assignments and exercises and that sort of thing. To begin, let's go ahead and add a mesh that I think benefits from a little bit of symmetry. A cube doesn't work because if you flip a cube, it's going to look kind of the same. So delete the cube if you've got one in your scene. Click Add, and let's go to a monkey object. So adding this monkey allows us then to work on mirroring and symmetry in a couple of different ways. The first is in edit mode. So tab or select into edit mode. And then I want you to go to the mesh tab. And under the mesh tab, we're going to find this subheading called mirror. And mirror gives you options such as mirror on the X, the Y, for both global and local. So let's go to mesh, mirror, and we can do a variety of these. You can either do this one and change it, or you can use this interactive mirror, which allows you to kind of change it with a few key commands. Let's start with interactive mirror. And you can see down below it has a bunch of settings down here where it mentions the x-axis, y-axis, and so forth. So let's press X to see basically nothing happen because it's a symmetrical object on its origin, so it doesn't really look too much different when you flip on the X. But pressing the Y key flips it on that axis quite a bit. During this interactive moment, you're not going to be able to use your mouse controls to mirror, so that can be a little bit frustrating. So as you're trying to turn around your shape, you're not going to see it happen. Then you can press Shift for the X plane. You can press Shift Y for the Y plane, and so forth. But essentially what this is doing is it's just mirroring your object. It's just flipping your object. You can press left mouse button to confirm and right mouse button to cancel. Going to mirror X global, Y global, etc., this is going to give you the orientation options as well as the Y, Z, or X axes. So this one should look pretty familiar to you and give you some pretty good results as well. This one is just it's committing the change as you're doing it versus like the interactive one, which gives you a little bit of a preview. So that's your options for mirroring. Alternatively, if you want a non-destructive mirror to occur, so let's see if we can back off those flips. You can go into your modifiers tab and add a modifier under generate, I believe is mirror. And this is a non-destructive mirror mode. By default, it's going to be on the x-axis, which doesn't look like much for our current monkey object. But if we flip on the y, perhaps, let's see, we should get some other looks. I'm still in edit mode. I need to be in object mode. Do I not? Let's look. Yep, there we go. So in object mode, changing some of these mirror settings, you'll notice is actually creating a duplicate of the object. It also is going to flip around our origin point, so we might want to move this guy out and then move, say, our origin point to the 3D cursor. So let's right click, set origin to 3D cursor. That's going to push this over, and then some of our mirror options will look a little bit more meaningful. So that way we can flip our monkey on the x-axis, the y-axis, and so forth. There is, let's see, let me show you this. There is, for an edit mode, will this work? Yeah, we can move these things toward one another. And you can see that these objects will move and pass through one another if you're not kind of planning accordingly. There is, however, a clipping rule, which when clipping happens, it's going to stop everything on the axis and it won't pass through. So when we're thinking about mirroring, maybe making duplicates of things, so far so good, but if we're talking about using mirroring as like a method of, say, cloning what happens on one side of an object to another, then you're going to want to use this clipping rule. So let me do something real quick. Let's go ahead and let's delete this mirror, and I'm going to go back into object mode, and I'm going to set the origin to the geometry, and then we're going to, let's see, will this work? Let's do selection to cursor. Nope. Selection. Let's see if we can get this put to the set origin to geometry to origin. Sorry, set geometry origin to 3D cursor. No, let's get this set. One moment. There we go. Set origin to geometry, and then set geometry to origin. Set origin to 3D cursor. Set geometry origin. Got to get us back on our origin point there. All right, so now we've got our monkey character. Let's do this. Let's go into edit mode, and I'm going to hit Alt Control Q because I want to see this in the front view. And I'm going to select half of the polygons on the left side. I'm just going to delete those faces. Let's go to wireframes, so that way I'm selecting through, and I'm going to delete those faces once again. Just hitting delete key and choosing faces. Then, with this modifier of mirror, I can then have that object cloned to the X side, on the other side of the X axis. Now, why does this matter? Well, this is pretty awesome, because then if I were to go through and be modeling this monkey character, and if I wanted to be in edit mode points per se, and I wanted to make the ear slightly bigger, if I move it on one side, it's going to move on the other side as well, while keeping everything beautifully symmetrical. So that's the benefit here. So once again, we just got our monkey character perfectly to the origin, because that's where our flip is going to happen. And then I deleted one side of the face, and then I used the mirror modifier to clone that side and flip it at the same time. Now, we have that clipping unset. So let me show you what happens if we don't have clipping set. I can actually move my points apart from one another and create holes and gaps. Rarely you want this, but sometimes you do, so that's why it's not on by default. But once you do your completed mirror step, I want you to click on clipping, and that's going to be beneficial, because then as you move this point out, it's going to hold it to that center axis, and it's not going to let you to create holes in between your points. We also have a merge points set here, which is also going to be kind of welding those points together. So if you turn off the merge, you can get some instances where you have too many points, that sort of thing. So you want the merge on, you want clip on, you want the axis to be X most likely, and that'll set you up perfectly for some really awesome and very efficient 3D character modeling with mirror and symmetry.